Before you dive head first into the holiday rush, pause. Because how you enter the holiday season shapes how you exit into the next year.
That is so true. Especially the new year. You want to welcome it as truly brand new. I know it's a continuation of the year before, but you want it to be brand new. And every year, millions rush towards the finish line, exhausted, overextended, and spiritually dehydrated. Yet the holiday season arrives not to pressure us, but to actually cleanse us. It is the probably one of the oldest rituals of humanity, right? Think about it, man. Christianity has been around for 2,000 years, right? The
Right.
organized church, yeah, which is the base of old Western civilization as we know it now, is 1,700 years old. So it's this ritual of winding up the year, going into Christmas, is that old. It's one of the oldest one, and this ritual of it brings us to a ritual of stepping back.
And that's what today's episode is all about, the holiday mindset. Why this season matters more than people realize, how pausing rewires your psychology, and how reconnecting with people you love resets your internal map. The map is flexible and you need periodic rest.
That's it. Most men and most women, they sprint all year. January starts slow and it gets faster and faster and faster. By the time it's November, it's the beginning of this massive rush, and December just goes like that, right? And all year silently promising. Everybody's like sprinting, right? And we're all like silently promising ourselves that we'll rest later. Later becomes never, and the mind begins to fray at the edges, I suppose.
That's it. That's it. And look, the mind doesn't tell you, hey, you're overloaded. It doesn't come on like that. It whispers it, gently whispers it through irritability, fatigue, disconnection, overthinking, or just that feeling of being stuck.
The holiday season is not a distraction. It is an ancient psychological intervention. I don't know if they planned it that way back then, but it ended up that way, right?
It's interesting, right? You wonder if
Mm,
they just innately understood
mm,
that people need regular breaks.
yeah. I
If
mean,
they innately understood that, and then psychology has completely overcomplicated the concept.
the okay, so if you look at it this way, the northern hemisphere is pretty much it's the start of winter, right? Not much to do. It's cold outside. And um, from a wandering civilization, the hunters and gatherers, to a farming civilization, um, winter is always the same.
Yeah,
Get in there, get comfortable, get into some shelter because you'll freeze. And I find it ironic as well that we're forced to freeze, to rest, right?
right.
Yeah, and that's the moment in civilization built into the calendar to ensure that we don't lose ourselves.
Yeah, that's it. And look, today we're going to show you why pausing is a mindset superpower. Like I say to my clients all the time, you're going to get sick and tired of me saying the word pause. How the brain resets when you step out of routine. How connection restores clarity. And how ancient cultures intentionally design seasons of withdrawal and renewal.
Yeah, stay until the end because the final 3-minute monologue from Jono, that Jono will deliver might be the recalibration that you've been needing all year.
Let's start with the psychology. When you step out of your normal environment, your nervous system gets a chance to actually turn off survival mode, remembering that our basic function as human beings is to survive. So our mind goes there very quickly. Your daily routine creates what neuroscience calls automaticity. You're on an autopilot, great for efficiency, terrible for self awareness. When you break the routine, even for a few days, your unconscious mind finally gets space to process, integrate, and reset.
Consider the archer, right? If the bow is always being pulled tight, the wood will eventually crack,
What a
right?
great analogy.
Yeah. And it's also tiring. Have you ever pulled a bow
Yeah,
this
yeah,
way?
they're heavy.
They're very heavy. Imagine a long bow. Oh, one cannot do it for a long period of time. And that's why in the movies, when we see people just holding it there and then fire, no, don't do that. So it's tiring, and the wood or the bow will eventually crack. So release is not just indulgence, right? Release is maintenance of power. Civilizations understood this. The ancient Greeks had festivals of rest. The Romans had Saturnalia, right? Have you heard of Saturnalia?
I haven't, no.
Okay,
I'm
so
assuming it's a celebration of Saturn.
yes, correct. So Saturn is the cyclical god. You know, Saturn has a ring, right? Yeah,
Right.
and he's also the god of the seasons. He's also the god of cycles. He's also the god of law. He's also the god of process, right? And I'm not sure how to say the word. I think Saturnalia or Saturnalia, but it's Latin, right? And at one point, even the master and the slave is allowed to be equals. Yeah. So it's an
Right.
interesting um, festival. So obviously, if the slave, you know, became rude to the master, oh well, when the festival is finished, you're in deep shit. So anyway,
Yeah.
the Jews had Sabbath cycles. So Sabbateo or Sabbath is it's Saturday. So Sabbath is Saturday. Saturn is sometimes attributed to Sabbati, right? Or the Lord or God. Sometimes. Or the Old Testament God. Yeah. They're not the same. The Japanese have O Bon. O means big. Yeah? O Bon, right? The Filipinos have extended Christmas season. Oh my God, tell me about that.
It starts the second the month ends the first.
That's it. It continues on. And Christmas is a season of reunion. Think about it. It's winter. Of course, you're going to spend time with your family. Where else are you going to go? You know, you can't go for, you don't really go out. These are the ancient times. So I think only the advent of trains that humanity started traveling during Christmas. Most of humanity stayed between, I think from what I heard, about 24 kilometers or where they were born before the advent of trains. So
Yeah.
Christmas is really the reunion.
It is. And look, and every time the principle is the same. Step back so you can step forward stronger.
And I just want to add again, so Christmas this season is about family reunion. Yeah, the Americans added another month before, and that's Thanksgiving. But most of human society or society as we know it now, Christmas is that loving, we have a Christmas spirit. We're even expected to be nicer, which actually works out as well, right? So, So now you guys know who you guys watching. Now you know that's the cycle at the end of the year at Christmas is about pausing and being with your family or your loved ones, right? So in the modern world, men especially drift into isolation, not because of weakness, but because responsibility pulls them away from fellowship.
And the data actually from clients actually backs this. People don't disconnect because they don't care. They disconnect because they're overloaded, and disconnection creates tunnel vision. But when you reconnect, even for a short holiday visit, something changes. You access old identities, forgotten strengths, and parts of yourself you don't meet in the boardroom or your workplace.
Yeah, man. I think by pausing, you get reminded why we do the rest of the year. For why you're doing this. So
Right.
it reminds you, oh yeah, of course, my children, my family, my loved ones. You know, in ancient tribes, reunion wasn't optional. It was identity maintenance. In the Western world, I mean, you can agree with me in this one, Jono. In the Western world, the identity of the individual is strong, right?
Mm.
Or
Yeah.
stronger. Whereas in Eastern world, like Philippines, the identity of the family and the clan is stronger, or the tribe is stronger.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I see that, with my wife all the time.
Mm,
My wife being Filipino, like
yeah.
the family unit, the
Mm.
extended family unit is primary.
That's right. It's almost like sit down, shut up, you're embarrassing our family. You know,
Right.
that's it's bigger than the individual, right? So the same with the ancients, the tribes. To sit around the fire was to remember who you are. So if you feel resistant towards reconnecting, that's not avoidance. That's a sign you need it even more so.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. So let's make this practical. So here are holiday mindset practices anyone can use to let go, slow down, and actually enjoy the moment. Firstly, you choose the day your year ends. Pick a date where you stop grinding, no emails, no planning. Number two is micro transitions. Before walking into any family gathering, pause for 10 seconds, exhale, drop your shoulders, tell your mind, I am here, I am present. Number three, pick one sensory anchor. The smell of the food, the sound of laughter, the warmth of a drink. This grounds your nervous system. We've spoken a lot in the past of the importance of anchoring. It's something I talk about with everybody. Four is limit planning. You can't rest while running simulations in your head. Give yourself one planning session before the holidays, then just close the mental tabs.
I love that. Close the mental tabs.
Yeah,
Love
isn't that a
that.
great? Isn't that a great? Close the mental. Give yourself one planning session, then close the mental tabs.
Love it. Yeah.
And then there's the 30% rule. During holidays, aim to operate at 30% intensity because real recovery genuinely requires space.
Okay. Let us descend deeper into this. Yeah. The ancient wisdom teaches that a year is not a straight line. It is a cycle of exertion and restoration. And it's true. It's not a straight line. The earth went around the sun. It's a circle, right?
Exactly right.
So let me just remind everybody about that. So it is a cycle of exertion and restoration.
Repeating cycle.
That's it. The sun is moving and the earth is spinning like that. So it's a spiral, really, right? That's life, yeah? The Stoics had winter reflection periods. Monks had annual silence retreats. Farmers had seasonal rest. And warriors had ritual decompression after battle. A decompression is clean your tools, shave yourself, have a shower, remove the blood. So that's what they do, right? And these were not holidays, they were strategic reset of the psyche.
And what modern psychology confirms is exactly what ancient cultures already knew. Performance depends on recovery. Clarity depends on distance. Mindset depends on rhythm.
You cannot be the sun all year long. You're not. You're human. You're not the sun, right? You can be as bright, but still, you must sometimes be the moon, and and that means it's a reflective light and gathering the light. Even the moon is not always full, right? It reminds you, it keeps on going from a crescent to full to another crescent, right? And the new
Right,
moon,
right.
yeah, even that.
Repeat, repeat, repeat.
Yeah. So let me pace your inner world for a moment here. You've carried responsibilities for months. You've held emotions you didn't have the space to process. You've solved problems. You fixed issues. You met expectations. One of my loved ones said the other day, "It's my job to worry about the family." I just went. I went quiet because I was in her house. But in the back of my mind, no, it's not. Your job is to organize and love your family. Your job is not to worry for them.
Well, the question there is,
Yeah.
the strategic psych question there is, how
Yeah.
much do you need to worry about something before it changes the outcome?
Yeah, nice. Okay, let me remember that. So if she says that again, I will be prepared for that.
Yeah, how much do you need to worry before it changes the outcome? And the answer is zero.
Nice. Yeah. That's the thing, eh? And somewhere inside, a quieter voice has been waiting for us to, I guess, be heard.
It has. And look, and when you pause, you finally hear that inner voice. That's where the real reset happens. Because the holiday season isn't about presence, it's about presence. When you step out of your routine, you step out of your old identity long enough to question it. And you can ask yourself, who have I become this year? Who did I lose touch with? What part of me needs rest? And what part of me needs to return? So we've got two actionable principles here to take this forward. Take one 90-minute window during the holidays to sit alone with a notebook and reflect on, throughout the year, what drained you, what grew you, and what you want to release before next year. Principle 2, the one connection that matters rule. Pick one person you haven't connected with. Call them, apologize, have a laugh, share gratitude. Not all relationships can be repaired, but some can be renewed. And that one can change your emotional landscape.
So imagine entering the new year, not burdened, but lighter. Not empty, but restored. Not sprinting from exhaustion, but walking into intention. Isn't that lovely?
Exactly. That's exactly it. And that itself,
Mm,
in a nutshell, is the power of pausing.
mm.
I told everyone they're going to get sick and tired of us saying the word pause, right?
So let's pause a minute here. And Jono, what is your main message for this episode to our audience?
All right. So before this year ends, give yourself permission to slow down because the world won't pause for you, but you can pause for yourself. The holiday season is not a disruption to your momentum, as a lot of people see it. It's the maintenance of your mind. It's the moment you put the tools down and remember the hands that hold them.
Oh, that's so good, bro. That's so good.
Right.
Mm,
You've spent 11 months doing, now you're simply allowed to be. So breathe, reconnect with people who matter. Doesn't have to be perfect, but at least make it honest.
mm.
Let the laughter loosen your chest. Let old stories remind you who you were before you became who you needed to be. And when you sit at that table with family, with friends, with memory, notice how time slows down. And it's not because the world changed, but because you allowed yourself to feel again. This season is the space between chapters. And if you use it well, the next chapter will not be a continuation, it'll be an evolution. Rest isn't the reward. People have this wacky idea that having a break, having a rest is a reward.
No way. Mm.
It's not a reward. Rest is the reset. And from the reset, you rise. So take this moment, take this breath, take this season, and let it return you to yourself.
And if you find this information, this podcast useful, like Jono's good monologue just then, thank you very much for that. That was good, man. I learned a lot of
My
stuff.
pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah. If you find this useful, please press the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you know someone who probably need this video, you know what? Share with them. And if you have any thoughts and ideas about pausing and resetting, or just tell us a good story, what you're going to do this holiday season, write it down in the comments below. And once again, my name is Crom from the Mindset Channel.
And I'm Jono.
Bye for now, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you next week, everyone. Thanks for coming along. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.